When I was a kid, I loved toy commercials. My first, most favorite show ever was called Dino Riders. You can see the commercials on YouTube. I think they were every bit as good as the show, if not better. I just loved when they had really great, big giant sets for toys. I'm sure G.I. Joe did similar things, even though I was never into that. And then in the late 80s/early 90s was Ninja Turtles, with that really bad but great cartoon animation of the new bad guy or the new mutant, and then the turtle figures, which would also have a set. I was always really excited anytime there was a new commercial for the toys that I liked. So what I try to do on this channel is I try to make the kind of videos that I feel like I would have liked to have seen when I was a kid. One of our most common questions is, where's the video? Or when are you going to post the next video? And I think a lot of people don't realize that there's a lot involved in making just one video. It takes a really long time to do, so we generally have to compromise and do things that still look pretty good, but that can be done in a couple of days. Because we get about 5 or 6 days from the time we come up with the idea to the time the finished video has to be on YouTube and we're on to the next video. But anyway, I thought I'd show you guys how I just did this most recent set for this video. There's not really any right or wrong way to do sets, and almost each one of these I've done a different way and used different materials for. It's a combination of plaster cloth and just like thick plaster that's used to make rocks, and then these are actually rocks. I just started the Lost Galaxy set, and they all start out like this. It's all foam that you can buy at any hardware store. I got this thick foam at Home Depot. I thought I'd add that this sheet of foam was actually the upper level of that Christmas train set that we built 2 years ago that we used in our Christmas giveaway. Usually when I build a set, I try to either make sure that it can have multiple uses or the materials can be repurposed in the future. Rather than make that whole big thing and just throw it out, now the train set has become a Quarry, and hopefully this I will have for a very long time. Also, about 2 years ago, I built a set for Gosei Ultimate, and that one did kind of get ruined, unfortunately. So that whole set lasted 4 seconds on screen, and that was the end of it. So hope you guys enjoyed that. I have to build these things so quickly, there's usually not time to let things dry or to use the proper materials. So since I had to use dry ice, which required a lot of water to make the ice smoke, things got wet and soggy before they were really properly dried. But anyway, so that one got ruined. So anyway, I took this big sheet of foam, and okay, that's my base right there. And then I'll take these thinner pieces. Doesn't really matter if it's thin or thick. Okay, so you can already see that this is looking like a thing already. Then you want to build your levels. So now there's a bigger thing. This is a mini glue gun that I paid roughly $4 for. And you just put a little bit of glue, press down, and then it's stuck. Now this time I did not use any plaster. What I did was I took this screen, drape it over that, and then use your glue gun to stick the screen. Then I took spray foam, and then I put the foam over the screen. Don't touch the foam, it will never come off of you. I'm still picking foam off of my fingernails from last week. Using gloves, you go like that with the foam and make it as even and as thin, because this stuff will expand, and you want it to just kind of cover the screen as best as you can. And then once that was dry, I used this joint compound. The joint compound goes on pink and then it dries white. I always check the oops paint to save money. Instead of spending $20 or $30, I paid $2.50 for just whatever brown they had. It wouldn't have been my first choice, but the price was right. There's really no right or wrong color, but I wanted this to look kind of like a New Zealand Quarry, and it's not really this color at all. I did airbrush some of my Woodland Scenics colors onto the Quarry. So this went on first, then I did the airbrushing. Then more oops paint, that was 50 cents. It's this gray color. So I used that to dry brush the rocks to bring out the detail. Now here's an example of, if I had a lot of time, a lot more detail. This right here took me a couple days to do, and this entire set right here took me roughly 24 hours. And here's a quick closer look at me building this most recent set. I want to say I was about 11 years old when I first visited FAO Schwarz in New York City. That was just such an unbelievable toy store, especially as a kid. They had these big giant displays for all the toys I loved. Like for Ninja Turtles, they built these big giant skyscrapers and they had all the Ninja Turtle characters all over the different buildings. Displays like that were just always so exciting, and I still get really excited. At the last Comic-Con, they had that awesome Dino Charge display, and I would love to learn how to do stuff like that. I was never taught. It's all stuff that I walk around hardware stores or hobby stores and say, this looks like it might work with this, and then try stuff and see how it goes. But I would really love to know how they made that Dino Charge set. I can see it's done a little bit differently than what I'm doing, and I'd really like to know how they did it. But still, the way I just showed you is a pretty cheap and fast way to make a pretty sturdy set that'll last a long time. We're doing an episode review right now. It features Fury and the Red Ranger. This time I'm also going to be using the figure art version of Red Dino Charge Ranger. This is a Canon 7D right here. I think a lot of people think that it takes us 10 minutes to make one video and then we just sit on the couch for the next 6 days, but we're actually always working. There's not always a video because making one video takes a lot of time to do. We might work 12 to 15 hours in one day and not have a video to go up that night because we're not done. And forget the actual effects and editing. Sometimes just setting up for the shoot actually takes a long time. This requires a lot of light. This is only going to be on the screen for a couple seconds. Oh, I love that. How did you do a good job with that?
It came out well, finally. I did it 3 times.
Wow. So all of yesterday, we just did this one shot, and then today Mia's going to do more on it, keeping in mind this is only a 2-second shot. So it's 5 o'clock and about 110 degrees in here, and
It's incredibly hot in here.
poor Mia's still sitting here, still doing the foot masking.
So I keyed all the stuff that was around this foot and some of what was going on behind his robe.
Still same 2-second clip. We're on day 3, and Mia's still doing the masking. So Mia's figuring out how to make the Red Ranger's gun fire. That's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
So by now I'm sure Mia has spent close to 100 hours on this shot that's only going to be on the screen for a couple of seconds. Alright, I think I'm going to end here. Hopefully people found that somewhat entertaining, informative. Hopefully it'll help some of the impatient people understand why there's only 1 or 2 new videos each week. And it is way past my bedtime, so thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't. I'll be back soon with many, 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 many more good videos. And good night.